Well, I guess number one is I lost my job. I had been in Good Samaritan before, pretty much for the same reason. I had lost my job with a large portion of the Philadelphia Catholic Archdiocese in one of their schools, and of course with no money I couldn't pay rent, and that was the first time that I came to Good Samaritan and managed to get through the program. You helped me get a job with Lowe's, which I maintained for a little over a year, and in the beginning of June of this year, due to circumstances beyond their control, they let me go. And I would have found myself unemployed again with no money. I needed a place to stay, and was hopeful that if I called Good Samaritan that you would help me out as you did before. And that is exactly what is happening right now. You're helping me to get back on my feet. Not really, because a lot of the reasons that I lost my job at Lowe's were calling in sick on days when the only reason I was sick was because of my activities of the night before. In other words, I drank too much. So a lot of the reasons that I'm here right now are concerning the fact that I need help with drinking problem that I've had for a long, long time. Managed to control it occasionally, but not all the time, and that's why I find myself in the place that I'm in right now.
Help.
Right now, we're pushing 2 months, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. It's not like this is the first, this is not the first time that I've done this. It's just that my willpower goes away at certain times. I don't know how to explain it. I can go weeks without drinking, days without drinking, and then just all of a sudden one day I buy a bottle and drink. And I have no explanation for it other than I like to drink. I don't know how to say that. 2 failed marriages, both of them pretty much because of drinking. My first one was 3 years. I was 30 years old. And my second one lasted 16 years. 15, 16 years. I controlled my drinking much better during that one, and ultimately it did lead to a divorce. Scared? Am I going to die? I read about people that have died from alcohol poisoning, looking at the amounts that I have seen myself drink. I guess the thing I feared most is that it would cause my death. That's a very good question. I really have no answer. I have no answer to myself, and I'm the one that, the person that I know that the person that I'm hurting more than anyone is myself. I realize that because I've really never hurt anyone else concerning drinking, although I did have an accident with a vehicle 10, almost 11 years ago, of which I was drunk and was arrested for DUI. And that person was not injured, thank God, but it still didn't stop me from drinking. I went to jail one night and ultimately spent a year on probation, went to classes, AA classes, alcohol awareness. This was in Georgia. Like I said, 10 or 11 years, 2005 I think it was, so it might be like 9 or 10 years ago. Yes, I do. There's so many programs available to me through you, and I take advantage of a couple of them at this point, including medical assistance and definitely the counseling, and just the fact that you're providing me a place to stay, providing me with food to eat, as I absolutely, with no job, I have no money, so I have no way of getting food for myself, and that is being provided for me by you. A whole lot better right now than I did 7, 8, 9 weeks ago when I was at rock bottom and not considering suicide. That was a question counseling continues to ask me, but I would not tell them yes, but if something happened, I'm not saying that I'm ready to die, but I feel that I've lived my life, and that's a tough question. I don't feel good about myself, but I feel better about myself. It's probably the only way I can put it, especially since I haven't drank in almost 2 months. That makes my body feel a whole lot better. My appetite's back. I've put on probably 10 pounds since I've been here. I do. But I need help. I can't do it by myself. That's what I've learned. The main thing is, it's not something that should be approached that it's just I'm going to go home and say, that's it, I stopped drinking. I'm going to need to continue counseling, and then even support groups. Maybe AA. I have been to AA meetings when I lived in Florida and was married to my second wife, and that helped me for a while. But again, it's not something I continued for very long. Sometimes. I do when I'm working, because when I'm working and sober, I'm a good worker. And I've been told that by almost all the jobs, but the bad outweighs the good, and ultimately caused me to lose 2 really good jobs over the last 10 years. Actually 3, but one I moved back to Pennsylvania, so I didn't really lose that job, but that job was in jeopardy at the time when I left it. That was when I was in Georgia. Yes, I am. And hopefully I'll be able to get into transition housing and stay here. Last time I didn't get into transition, I went out on my own, and that did not work. Being away from Good Samaritan, and even though I told myself last time that I would come back and visit and talk with people, I didn't do any of that. If I can make it so that I can stay in this area right here with Good Samaritan around me, I believe I would have a very much better opportunity to get more control over my addiction. I don't know if I would use the word ashamed. Disappointed in myself, and that some of the people that were closest to me, I now have absolutely no contact with because of my addiction, including both of my ex-wives, some family members, some friends that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and it's pretty much because of me and my addiction. Well, I'm hoping to be able to provide for myself again by getting a job and a place to live by myself. Even though that hasn't worked out in the past, I need to make it work. I want to make it work. And I continually tell myself that I am going to make it work. Banana split from Rita's. For me to successfully complete the program with you and Good Samaritan, and to move on in my life with what is the next step. And I'm not at this point sure what the next step is. That would depend on what type of job I can secure, or if I decide to do stand-up comedy again, which I've done in the past. I mean, I've done some entertaining. I've been on stage. I've had played in a band. I'm musically inclined. I have musical instruments. I mean, there's a lot of things I've done in my past, only a little bit, that I could continue or maybe start up again. So I think I have a variety of options, and drinking is not one of them.